Hi everyone, today we're talking about Route 53 in CloudFront. When you open up a browser and you put in a website name like network.org, you click enter and then a website loads. Wow, magical. How does that happen? That's where these tools come into play. So first of all, we need to understand what domain names are. You are probably already familiar with domain names because they're the names that you type into a URL, like network.org is a domain name. Google.com is another domain name. They're usually written in an English term or a language that we can read and understand as human beings. They decide to be easy to remember because people want you to remember the domains that you can visit their website. Now, previously we learned about IP addresses and how IP addresses are like the address for each computer or device that you have. But this isn't really a user-friendly sort of address. It's like a big string of numbers, which no one really is expected to memorize or know. That's just so that our computers can talk to each other and know where they're going from and where they're going to. Now, if you're thinking, how does that relate to my domain name? The crazy thing about it is that every domain name that you have goes to a website, right? And every website, if you follow it down the track, at the end of the line, it's hosted somewhere on a server, a physical server that is sitting in a room somewhere, probably looked after by AWS, but it is physically somewhere. And that server has an IP address. So your computer, when it is loading that website, needs to know the IP address of that server that the website is hosted on so that it can go there, get the information from that server for that website, and then come back. Now, a domain name service is part of that communication. It's basically saying, you want to go to network.org? Actually, funnily enough, dear user, you need to go to this IP address, which is the server. So the domain name is sitting behind every domain that someone types in, and it says, network.org, you want to go to this IP address, it's that way, take a left. Google.com, you want to go to this one, go down there, 3 turns, and then you want to go right. So the domain name is basically translating all of those human URLs into IP addresses that we need to go to in order to get the information that we want to see on that website. But it all happens just like that. Route 53 is Amazon's domain name service, which means that it gives you a reliable way to actually route your users from whatever domain name they land on to actually the right server where they can get all the good stuff that they need about your app or whatever it is that you're building your website, and then return it back to the user. Now, if it even does a little bit more than that, it goes a step further, and it says, actually, this is getting pretty busy, so we're going to control the traffic that's coming in and asking us for all of these IP addresses. Where do we go? Oh my goodness. So as these requests are coming in, it's going to be looking for a couple of different things. It's going to be saying, do you want to go somewhere the fastest, or do we want to put you somewhere that is the closest? And you might be thinking, aren't these the same things? Not necessarily, actually. When you have a latency-based policy, that means that you're going where there is the most ability to process your request. This might not always be the nearest place. The nearest place might be chock-a-block. They might be full to the brim. There might be no more room there for you, so you need to go somewhere else. Maybe it's a bit further away, but hey, they've got the room there to actually process your request. This is, I just want to go where is the closest for me, and if it's busy, hey, whatever, we're going to make it work. Now, this might all sound familiar if you're thinking back, because it is very similar to what we know about CloudFront. Remember, CloudFront is our content delivery network, which is basically making sure that it's going to all of these different edge locations around the world. Hey, we can get you this data really quickly because we're going to places that are near you. So how CloudFront works is that, say you have a customer in Brazil and they request to access your application, and they go and get your data from where it's stored in Sydney. But then CloudFront steps in and it's saying, hold on a second, Sydney? What are you going to Sydney for? That's so far. We've actually got an edge location that's in Brazil, like really near you. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to make a quick copy of everything that you're looking for from this data in Sydney. I'm just going to make a copy of that and store that right here in Brazil so that if you come back, you don't have to go to Sydney. That's a bit of a mission. Just come next door. It's all right. We've got it. It's going to be faster. It's going to be easier. If you need something else that I don't have cached here, that I don't have copied here, I'll just pop back over to Sydney for you and grab that. But this should be a lot easier. That's what CloudFront is doing. And it works really well with Route 53, who is trying to make sure that everyone's going to the right places in the fastest amount of time, or to the place that has the most ability and availability for it, CloudFront is a great combo there. They're like two peas in a pod. They're just going to work really well together. Route 53 is going to figure out the best way to reach AWS's data centers, and then CloudFront is going to sort out the best way to actually deliver what it gets from those data centers to the end user. Match made in heaven. Happy learning, everyone. See you in the next video.